Hey guys, Andrew from Mcnasty Customz. What we have here today is a 2020 Honda Talon R, and we have a new product release that we're going to be sending out there real soon, which is going to save you guys a lot of headache and hassle with very minimal amount of work. So here we have the front frame rails that go to the front of your cage. This machine was an actual 12 mile an hour rollover, and on the opposite side, very slow rollover. It kind of went up on its wheels, tilted and rolled over, and it actually bent the frame. The cage obviously crushed in a few spots. It let go. It's almost like the cage is supposed to. The problem with the Hondas is the thin wall material. This tube, this 2-inch diameter tube, is so thin. It's the thinnest of any UTV we've worked on, the thinnest of anything we've seen. So we are obviously fixing the frame here and building a cage for it so we don't have these problems anymore. So what you see here is coming up for a brace is a 1-inch tube. And if you look under here on the front of the machine, it kind of 45s in, is about a 1.5-inch tube into the outside diameter frame rail, which is a 2-inch tube. The problem is the thickness of this metal. This was in a 10 or 12 mile an hour rollover. It just went up, went over, and kind of tumbled, and it actually bent the frame. This, insurance-wise, would technically total your machine because it has a bent frame. The Hondas, the Rs and the Xs, the 19s, 20, and 21s are all exactly the same. They're all going to have the same problem, and they are ridiculous. This is the thinnest tubing I've ever seen on any side-by-side we've ever worked on. What happened over there is it simply just pushed it down. It mushroomed the tubing over where it was welded in for the bracing. This tubing for the frame is so thin that it does nothing but it just collapses. It mushroomed right over the piece, which totaled this machine, technically. So I have your solution here. So we have 4 points. From this point here, you can see it comes up, and this is the bung of the cage that we're going to be welding in. So you got about a 5-inch section here, and then obviously in the back corner sections of the frame where the cage goes up, there's also an issue there. We have the solution for all of it. We have the Mcnasty Custom Gusset plates. This is going to be able to weld in, and you're going to be put them on your frame, and it's going to box this entire section in. This is thick steel, and it's very simple to put on. It's obviously not going to come powder coated. I'm only put powder coated it red so you can see how it looks. It's going to come raw metal, and you're going to have somebody weld this in. So all you would really have to do is remove the upper fender here, and however else you want to get in there. You don't have to take it down as much as I did. Open the door and you can get right in. Obviously, you don't even need to open the door really, but this is how simple this piece is. Watch this. Ready? And that other piece wasn't supposed to fall. There you go. Now you're going to get these in raw steel. You're going to come around and you're going to weld this in, or you're going to bring it to a fabricator and he's going to weld it in. Like I said, you just remove your top fender, clip this on, weld it all the way around, and now it is going to support this upper cage from collapsing. Very, very, very minimal trimming to your actual plastic cover that slides over this, the fender. Let me grab it real quick just to show you. There's almost no trimming involved. If you want to trim it to fit it a little bit tighter, that's perfectly fine. It slides right over the top, pops right back into place. And like I said, a little tiny bit right here, and that's pretty much that. And then your plastic goes right back on and over it. If you would paint this black, you'd never know that anybody did this modification, and now it's extremely beefed up. So this is a 4-piece front kit, and it comes with the rear kit as well. There's also the other piece that dropped in here, another 45-degree gusset. It goes in this back corner over here, and you weld that in as well. You can simply slide it in from behind. It connects the very back side of this to that tubing, that 1.5-inch tube that goes across the front. I'll do a close-up of that. We'll put it in the corner, and you can see that. So you'll get the 2 inner gussets and the 2 outer gussets. Look how easy that is to put into place. So what you do is you slide it in. You'll come around the top, weld it in all the holes. all the areas on the edge, open areas. You weld it all the way down. you weld this back side here, and then you go from the inside of the machine, and you would weld straight across this bottom bar here. So all you do is you come in here, you remove all your paint, very simple. You could do it with a whizzer, any kind of 4-inch grinder or anything. You remove all the factory powder coat off the frame, and like I said, you'll put a weld from the inside going in that way. And this bracket here, it's notched out for the frame rail, the 1-inch tube. Beautiful. And she just goes right in the back side right there, and that's that. So like I said, you simply take this, it'll be raw metal, slap it on, that's it, that thing's in place, that's it. Just weld this thing all the way around, then you come in from the back, you can hold it with your hands, tack it, and then you can weld this at a 45. So what happens is this will make a 45 on the back side of the frame like this, and then there's a gusset, there's a tubing that comes down. This will actually weld in like this area here. Very simple, but like you can see it in the close-up. So as you can see, this side's completely welded in. We're going to take it off the camera, off the stand, and show you what the inside looks like and what it looks like completely welded around. So let's get a better close-up of that. Okay guys, and the last 2 pieces of the 6-piece kit are these 2 thick rear gusset plates that will go in right down against the frame and it'll sit on top of your frame and up against the back side of the area of the frame here that's sticking up, which is a weak bend point. Very simple, all you have to do is remove your plastic grate that's sitting right here, do your pop pins, pull your plastic out. You would go in there with a small whizzer, a die grinder or something, and just try to clean the powder coat off the very top of the tube that you can clearly see where this goes. Obviously fit it down there, you'll see exactly where it goes. It goes straight down against the back side of this neck here, and then it goes on top of the other tube. So it's basically just like this, down about 3 more inches, and that's where it sits. Then once you obviously have the paint off in there, you just go across the bottom, you weld straight across and straight up. That's it. Then these are installed, and now that can't really tweak either way because there's a very thick gusset plate sitting in there. We're going to close up in there so you can see that a little bit better. And check these products out. We're going to have them at McNastyCustomz.com very soon. We'll have them up. This will save your frame from being bent. So obviously you can go buy a cage and you can put a nice strong cage on there, but the cage is only as strong as the weakest link. These 4 areas sticking up, these 4 nubs, are the weak link because the factory Honda tubing is such a thin wall material that obviously the strong cage on top of 4 little legs is just going to bend. And it's going to just send the whole cage. And then there you go again, your machine's totaled with a bent frame. This will definitely beef everything up. I mean, I'd keep an eye out for it. So if you're going to put a strong cage on this machine, I would obviously gusset up your frame so the frame doesn't go anywhere either. Check us out, Mcnasty Customz on Facebook, Mcnasty Customz on Instagram, and McNastyCustomz.com. Thanks, guys.